Hello everyone. Welcome to this episode of Wehry Weekly History and Entertainment News. As Berkshire County struggles to keep up with the Omicron variant, many arts and entertainment facilities will still be holding events. However, this comes with the caveat. Masks, proof of vaccination, and ID are required at all times. And this won't be the last time you hear these words on WWHEN. On this episode, I'll be talking about some of the events going on, as well as updates on the Pittsfield Suns 2022 schedule, and a discussion on winter events at Jiminy Peak and Bosquet ski resorts. First, it's time for this episode's trivia question, which will be answered in the R.T. Wehry movie portion segment. This week's question is, what was the highest grossing movie of 2014? Word of caution, this is a trick question because there are two possible answers. Now, for this episode's local headlines. First, an update on how Berkshire County and the state of Massachusetts are dealing with the latest variant. With the Omicron variant wreaking havoc, many schools in Berkshire County are now going either virtual or limiting activities. For example, North Adams schools have canceled their entire after-school activities, while in Pittsfield, Taconic and Reed were forced to go virtual earlier in January after multiple positive tests of both students and staff. Additionally, the Pittsfield Board of Health has issued new guidelines for COVID tests. If you test positive for COVID, you must stay home for 5 days, regardless of vaccination status. If you have no symptoms after those 5 days, you can then leave the house, but must be masked in all indoor facilities. You must continue to wear a mask for 5 additional days afterwards. If you were in close contact with someone who has tested positive, but you are fully vaccinated and received at least one booster, you do not have to quarantine. But if you haven't been vaccinated in full with boosters, you must quarantine for 5 days. No exceptions. Also, Massachusetts has an employee notice regarding COVID-19 emergency paid sick leave. This is effective until April 1st, 2022, or until the exhaustion of the $75 million in program funds runs out, whichever happens first. Visit the website shown here for more information. Does all this news about the Omicron variant have you down? It's time for an important update on a summer pastime in the Berkshires. One of Pittsfield's most popular events is seeing baseball games at Wehry Park. The Pittsfield Suns recently announced their 2022 schedule, along with the rest of the Futures League. The season begins on May 26th with an away game against the Nashua Silver Knights. The next day, the Suns will have their home opener against the Norwich Sea Unicorns. Weeknight home games at Wehry Park are set to begin at 6:35 p.m., Saturday night games at 6:05 p.m., and all Sunday games will begin at 4:05 p.m., although things could change depending on the COVID situation. Games will not be played on Mondays, as the league will have Mondays off, with the exception of Memorial Day and the 4th of July. Tickets are not on sale yet, and COVID rules and regulations still have not been determined. Visit PittsfieldSuns.com and keep watching WWHEN for all Suns updates. Also, the North Adams Steeplecats have yet to announce their schedule for their league. Stay tuned to WWHEN for more information. Our next story is of several concerts happening at the Berkshire Theatre Group in Pittsfield. They are two cover bands, sure to bring back memories for fans young and old. The first is The Machine, who are a Pink Floyd cover band. They have forged a 30-year reputation of excellence, extending the legacy of the iconic rock band while creating a legacy of all their own. They are a New York-based band who cover all styles of different songs from Pink Floyd's 16 albums. The Machine will be performing on Saturday, February 5th at 8 p.m. The show will take place at the Colonial Theater in Pittsfield. Masks, proof of vaccine, and ID are required. According to the Berkshire Theatre Group's website, fully vaccinated means you can attend, quote, 14 days after the second dose of a 2-day COVID vaccine, or at least 14 days after a single vaccine, end quote. The other band performing will be the Guthrie brothers, Jack and Jeb. They are a cover band of Simon and Garfunkel. They perform songs, tell stories, trivia, and humor. Additionally, the show highlights the brothers' deep spiritual connection to the music of the 60s. This is a great homage to the music of Simon and Garfunkel. The show will take place on Saturday, February 12th at 8 p.m., again at the Colonial Theater. As usual, masks, proof of vaccine, and ID are required. The same definition of fully vaccinated mentioned earlier in this episode still applies. Our next story will be discussing another type of concert. This one will be happening at Close Encounters with Music in Great Barrington. According to its website, their mission, quote, is to engage the imagination of diverse concert audiences in a welcoming setting, connect listeners to performers and composers, foster the excitement and sense of community that live performance art builds, and turn performances into intellectually enriching, educational, and artistically uplifting performances, end quote. Their latest show is titled Folk and Baroque. This focuses on South American indigenous music along with liturgical music. It emphasizes how many different styles of music can bounce off of each other, and how you can bridge a gap between the styles. Folk and Baroque will be taking place on Saturday, February 26th at 6 p.m. Close Encounters with Music is located at the Mahawi Performing Arts Center at 14 Castle Street in Great Barrington. To purchase tickets, visit cewm.org. As usual, masks, vaccine proof, and ID are required for all patrons. Our next story will be discussing an exhibit being highlighted at the Williams College Museum of Art. Retro Japan, Technologies of Popular Visual Culture, will be focusing on the Japanese Edo period. This was a growth of both urban audiences and entertainment. Theater, textile paintings, and music grew in popularity in Japan at this time. These themes and paintings are integrally linked with the human body and nature as subject, maker, performer, viewer, and consumer. Technologies of popular visual culture highlights Japan's best in artwork. Retro Japan Technologies of Popular Visual Culture will be displayed at the Williams College Museum of Art from now until March 22nd. The museum is open during the spring 2022 semester, Wednesdays through Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Visit artmuseum.williams.edu for more information. Masks are required for all visitors to the museum. Visitors ages 12 and up must be prepared to show proof of vaccine, a photo ID, and/or a Williams College ID if they are a student there. With the winter season fully upon us, ski resorts are a popular place to visit now. One of the more famous ones in Berkshire County is Jiminy Peak, which is located at 37 Corey Road in Hancock. Besides the usual skiing, snowboarding, and tubing one can do there, Jiminy Peak also offers evening concerts due to their Twilight at the Tavern series, which are held every Thursday night. For instance, on February 3rd, the band Jason and Trev Acoustic will be performing. They are a musical experience that specializes in a wide array of popular songs from the 1950s until today. They will be playing starting at 8 p.m. Also, on February 5th, Jiminy Peak will be hosting a tri-state ski race. In this, some of the best high school skiers in Berkshire County will be racing in a giant slalom race. This will be an all-day event from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Please note that the race trails Whirlaway, Lower X, and X East will be closed to the public for this event, but all other trails will be open to the public. To combat the spread of COVID, Jiminy Peak is limiting daily attendance, although that figure will depend on the day. Proof of vaccine, ID, and masks are required to visit. Also, you and your party must test negative for COVID 24 hours before your trip. You can purchase tickets online at jiminypeak.com, then click on Tickets. While they don't have the concerts that Jiminy Peak does, they are still supplying family-friendly events such as skiing, snowboarding, and tubing. They are also giving group lessons, which is perfect for those who are unfamiliar with the slopes. Currently, Bosquet is open Mondays through Thursdays from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m., Fridays and Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., and Sundays from 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Their COVID policies are different than most businesses. If you are outside, masks are not required, though recommended. However, once you go inside one of their ski resort buildings, then you must wear your mask at all times, unless you are eating or drinking. Additionally, if you have tested positive for COVID, you must wait 14 days before visiting Bosquet. Bosquet's website does not give any information on proof of vaccine or ID, but you may want to bring it just as a precaution. Lastly, you must purchase tickets online. Visit bosquetmountain.org to do so, as well as any additional updates. It's now time for this episode's movie portion of the show. On this episode, we'll be discussing one of my favorite psychological thrillers, 2014's Gone Girl. Based on the hit novel by Gillian Flynn, the film follows Amy and Nick Dunn, whose seemingly happy marriage has eroded with the disappearance of Amy on the morning of their 5th anniversary. There is a media frenzy as it looks like Amy has been murdered and Nick is the prime suspect. But things are not as simple as it seems. This was one of 2014's most anticipated movies, and it did not disappoint. Earning over $166 million in the United States, as well as one Oscar nomination, Rosamund Pike for Best Actress. So why do I love this movie? It's a great psychological thriller that asks important questions. How much do we really know the people we love? Do the people we love actually love us? The performances in Gone Girl are great too, particularly Rosamund Pike as the mysterious Amy. We never know what her motives are for anything. The twists in this movie are shocking. Unless you have read the book before watching the movie, which full disclaimer I have, you won't see them coming. Speaking of films that were released in 2014, it's now time for the answer to this episode's trivia question. As a reminder, this episode's question was, what was the highest grossing movie of 2014? Disclaimer, this is a trick question because there are 2 possible answers. The answer is either Guardians of the Galaxy or American Sniper. 2014's box office champion is very complicated because there are multiple ways of looking at the box office amount. If one is talking about the highest calendar grosses, then Guardians of the Galaxy takes the top spot. The popular Marvel superhero film earned over $332 million in the United States in 2014. However, if we are talking about movies that were released in 2014, then American Sniper takes the top spot. The true story of Navy SEAL Chris Kyle earned a total of $350 million. This is where it gets tricky. American Sniper opened in 4 theaters on Christmas Day 2014, earning only $633,000. The rest of the money came in January 2015, where it was the highest grossing movie in America for 3 consecutive weeks. Whatever movie truly earned 2014's #1 spot depends on whether you are talking about movies that earned the majority of its money in a calendar year, or movies that simply came out that year. That ends this episode of Wehry Weekly History and Entertainment News. If you would like to watch this or any other WWHEN episode again, you can visit Pittsfield TV's and CTSB TV's website shown here, or visit NBCTC's Facebook page. Also, if you would like to see the episodes in HD quality, make sure to check out my YouTube page at R.T. Wehry. Thank you.